Hi Capricorn, this is your forecast for the month of August 2016. This is a general reading for Capricorn Sun, Capricorn Rising, or Capricorn Moon. If you have a different rising or moon sign, you might find watching those videos helpful as well. Please remember that these are general readings, and so they may not apply to everyone. If you would like a reading that is specific to you, please visit my website at thealchemistastrologer.com, provided on the link at the upper corner. If you have visited the site before, please clear your browser's cache to allow the appointment button to function properly. So Capricorn, the first week of August begins for you with the Four of Pentacles, and this card has strong ties to Capricorn. So this could be a week where you're focused on your possessions or your finances. Maybe you are being somewhat frugal this week. You're trying to hold on to your money. This is the Miser card, and maybe you're hoarding your resources. For some of you, there are financial matters at work this week, and maybe you are looking at your financial security, property ownership, or any kind of money gains. Some of you may be seeking some type of guarantee, or you're trying to gain control over your resources or protecting them. Some of you may be conservative in your investments. There could be some overcaution with your approach to some things. Maybe there's some blocked change. For some of you, there's a sense of possessiveness and trying to hang on to something. Maybe you're being territorial about something. Some of you will have contact with financial people this week, perhaps bankers, wealthy people, conservatives, financial institutions. So there's a strong focus on financial matters and possibly worry about finances. So this week you're going to be examining where you invest yourself, whether that's your time, your energy, your emotions, and your finances, and whether or not you've been too conservative with that or you've been giving that away too freely. So maybe this is a good week for you. Any kind of opportunities that come your way, this would be a good time to cautiously explore those, especially if they could lead to some kind of better financial footing for you, whether that's a new job, a better employment, or some kind of financial gain. And being realistic is the key for you, and this is a forte for you anyway, Capricorn. So taking this realistic approach in your dealings with people and your expectations and situations, that's going to bring you closer to the people that you care about and the situations that matter most to you. Now, for some of you, whether you had intended to or not, you may be taking on the responsibility for someone else, for their problems, and this could happen to you literally overnight this week. You may be burdened with having to care for someone, or perhaps there's some things going on in your career or at work. You experience some kind of setback in those areas. And maybe you're also dealing with something emotional or some kind of medical issue of your own. Now, because this is a card about blocking and holding on tight and being territorial, of course, there's a strong focus on self-interest, but be sure that you don't let that get out of hand, because this card can also be about selfishness. So if you're being excessively self-aware or putting your concerns first above all else, you may be, distorting situations. You may not be able to make objective decisions, and it may cause you to blow some situations out of proportion. So for some of you, you are holding on too tight to either a situation or a person, and you're going to find out that whatever it is that you're trying to hold on to is actually costing you more than it's worth. Some of you are taking on unnecessary responsibilities, and so self-inflicted burdens are actually you're carrying that load because you're trying too hard to either avoid something or to accomplish something that you want to happen. Now, the second week, you have the Two of Pentacles. This is a number 2 card falling in a number 2 time slot. So this card is emphasized. This is a strong card for you in this reading. So this is the Two of Pentacles, this juggling, weighing your options. Maybe you have some multiple obligations this week, and maybe there's a need for you to be flexible. For some of you, because there was an emphasis on finances, maybe you are juggling your finances. Some of you are being spread too thin and you're having to make some decisions. You could be trying to determine, where best to apply your money, or maybe you're removing from one fund to put some money in another fund. So some of you are maybe involved in commerce, though. Maybe you were making some business decisions, and maybe you're involved where there's an exchange of goods and services. You're putting something out. Maybe you're having to, navigate a situation, and you're having to skillfully manipulate some things. You're juggling to make the best possible outcome happen. But this is a week where multitasking is going to be your specialty, and it's possible that some opportunities are going to crop up with regard to romance, finance, or legally, as well as perhaps a stroke of unexpected good luck when and where you least expect it. So this week is going to be easy for you to juggle a lot of situations and to prioritize, change your agenda if need be. And this is also a good time for you to go over your finances, review them, and possibly restructure your economic situation for the future with a focus on your long-range benefits. Now, if you are in an avoidance mode, if you're blocking some changes, some of you are going to be susceptible to some psychosomatic illness. It could be real, or it could simply be in your head. But this is a diversionary tactic that you're using in order to avoid a situation or some people that you actually don't want to face. And again, you may be stretched too thin. You may have reached your financial max or your emotional max. You may have to rob from one area of your finances in order to pay for something else. But again, you were urged to be practical, to be realistic in your approach, because any kind of unrealistic thinking is actually going to result in you being more irritable, perhaps being depressed, or feeling as if you're on an emotional seesaw. Now, some of you may be getting a gift, because this is a card about that can indicate a gift, or maybe you're simply making some changes in your job or changes in your environment. And for some of you, a change of environment can simply mean something as mundane as someone comes to visit you, and so your environment is changed. But there are changes taking place, and you're weighing your options to figure out what is best for you. Now, the third week, you have the Knight of Wands. So this could be contact with a fire sign: Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, male or female. Or perhaps you're using the traits of this knight, or someone else is, or the situation is characterized by these traits. But this particular knight, is very enthusiastic. He's impulsive. He wants to be on the move. He loves a challenge. And so perhaps some of you are involved in some negotiations. Maybe you are dealing with some competitors. Maybe you're dealing with people who are energetic or active, or maybe you are. Maybe there's some change between residents. Maybe someone is traveling or relocating. But this week, there's a sense of being on a mission. Now, maybe this is a new project you're involved in. This could be some business interest. Maybe this is a new relationship. Now, if this is a relationship, this knight generally is not someone who wants to settle down. So perhaps this is something that has, a limited time frame to it. Many of you may be surprised that you suddenly find yourself in some kind of relationship or in some kind of pursuit that you're interested in. Some of you are going to accept, an offer or a date, whether you've been looking for that or not. And some of you are going to initiate those things. And so this could be a week where you end up suddenly partnering with someone. And just depending on, the circumstance, that will determine how long-lived this is. Now, the last week you have the Magician. And so this is a card about manifesting. And this week you have the capability to manifest whatever it is that you visualize. You have all of the resources at your disposal. The passion, the enthusiasm, the wit, the skill set, the emotion behind it. All of that is at your disposal for use. Some of you will be coming in contact with significant male figures, whether that's a son, a brother, husband, father, boyfriend. Some male will play an important role this week for you. This is the card of the entrepreneur. So maybe you were involved in some kind of business enterprise that you were excited about, something new, and you're making some business decisions and weighing your options. Maybe this has to do with some type of commerce or putting your services out there. This would be an excellent week to promote yourself, market yourself, put yourself out there in some way. Some of you may be trying to connect with someone who has some special skill set or some special knowledge, whether this is a doctor or a technical person. Maybe something to do, something where there's a special knowledge involved. Or some of you may be trying to gain some kind of special knowledge yourself. But this is a week where perhaps, you figure out the answer through trial and error. You create the opportunities for yourself. And this is going to give you the strong capability to make decisions and to solve any problems that you face. So the key for this week, again, is to help yourself by helping yourself. It's going to be your determination, your willingness to apply yourself constructively that's going to bring you reward. And this is a week where you're very confident and not afraid to take a stand to move yourself forward. So it's likely that you could receive some kind of recognition or reward for your efforts or services. But you're learning to rely on yourself, and that's where your success lies. Now, you can trip yourself up by becoming frustrated, impatient, short-tempered in such a way that you actually work against yourself and undermine a situation. Also, you had that first card, the Four of Pentacles, which is about self-interest, but you need to make sure that you're not being ego-driven or selfish, because if you're obsessive in your self-interest, or you have total regard for other people and their opinions, their advice, or the assistance that they may be trying to offer you, you could actually experience a setback because of it. So this is the week where your confidence, your self-reliance is going to be tested or rewarded. And you'll have to be careful about becoming impatient or impulsive or acting rashly. Now, the underlying energy is the Eight of Pentacles. And so there's diligence being applied. Again, this connects to knowledge and working and perhaps involved in a labor of love. So maybe you're trying to improve your skills, your talents, gain education. Maybe this card connects to job training or craftsmanship, or again, acquiring some new skill. But there's a focus on material security and the good use of your talents. So this month may very well be about self-employment, marketing yourself, making financial decisions, being enterprising. Maybe you're preparing for the future in some way. There could be a new job. Maybe you're changing your job altogether and entering some new field of work. Maybe you're focused on changing your career, getting a promotion. Could be some cautious investing. Maybe you're doing some saving. But you're focused on income from your skills. Some of you may be teaching, or maybe you're doing some kind of apprenticeship. But others of you are simply learning to manage your money, and this could be a focus on paying your bills, paying your debts. Some of you, maybe you're facing some challenges, or there's some changes taking place, or some obstacles that you have to overcome. But Even so, this is a month where those will actually trigger your determination to succeed. So you'll be coming up with ways to increase your income or your sense of security, and you'll be taking more of a hands-on approach to guide your investments. You may decide you need a second job, or again, you may start a side business, or you may increase your savings in some way. There's a focus on getting a promotion, or maybe you decide to interview for that new job, or you ask for a raise. For some of you, you'll be taking steps to improve your health. Maybe you had a visit with the doctor and you're weighing your options about how to change your lifestyle where you get the most out of it. Unfortunately, as you recall, I said it's possible that you may be taking on the burdens of someone else. This could be a month where at some point, some situation comes up that you didn't expect, some type of emergency that requires you to empty your cash savings, or maybe it threatens your account in some way. For some of you, you may have the realization that your company or your work, your job, or your standing is somehow threatened or in jeopardy. Maybe there's a medical issue, some kind of problem, either yours or someone else, and you come to realize that it's more serious than you thought. Now, there's again a strong focus on this security, possessions, income, weighing options, making quick decisions, resources. And so, of course, this is a month where you're working on self-improvement, self-interest, but make sure that you're not too focused on petty grievances. This is a card about habitual patterning, doing the same thing over and over and over and finding yourself in a rut. Some of you may be making changes because you find that your life or your work or your health patterns are in a rut. Maybe you're too comfortable and that's a rut for you. So be careful of, going out of your way to seek self-gratification or being overly self-indulgent. Okay, Capricorn, I hope you enjoyed this reading, and before I close, I'd like to give you a heartfelt thanks for giving me a sense of security. I happened to reach my 100 subscriber mark, and I wanted to tell you how much that means to me. So thank you for your subscriptions. Keep those coming, your likes, your kind comments. I hope you have an amazing August, and I look forward to speaking with you next month.